Hmm. All right, what's up, friends? I think I'm echoey. Crowdy, hey, what's up from Turkey? Hello. Type in the chat if I'm being echoey right now, or if it's just me in here. Please. Gotta get some stuff worked out. Let me see. I think I can figure that out. Where is that? Here we go. Boom. Oh, you say no echo. Cool. I just want to make sure. Somebody else tell me if there's an echo when I speak. Let me see. I'm having issues accessing it myself. See, there's my YouTube.
Yeah, what is that?
Come back. Let me see. I'm having issues accessing it myself. See, I think there's a little bit of an echo. We'll see what we can do here. Hold on. This is why we start early, so you guys can help me out with this, right? Don't worry, the NASA streams aren't starting for about like 12 more minutes. So we got that. Yeah. Okay, you're saying there's no echo? We got two people without an echo? It's nice. Can you hear the music I got going in the background? So what's up, George, David, 22 meter? Welcome. Thanks for checking out the live stream, my friends. We'll be getting rolling in a little bit. I mean, we're going now. Okay, it looks like the NASA streams have opened up. That one's not going yet. I'm checking, off screen here, because I want to bring in certain things for us to see. So, boom. I'm going to call this, what do we got? Mission control. You guys will be able to see me put this together real time. Mission control. Okay. I need to select. Boom. Okay, it's a little crazy right now. Just give me a second. It's like, whoa, Kevin, what is that? It's mission control. That's not what I want. It's different mission control that I'm looking for. So there's one. Okay, let me hide that while I figure this stuff out. How's the music? Is it too loud? Or is it nice? Turn it down just a little bit. It's loud for me. Put some more stuff in here. So we got Mission Control Live. Well, what's the other one called? Where? Oh, that's the 360. Boom. Figuring it out, friends. Thanks for tuning in. Yaya, what's up? James Isaac, what's up? Welcome. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. Okay, George asked what time is it supposed to land? 12:55 p.m. Pacific time, 3:55 p.m. Eastern time, speaking in the United States. Window capture. Let's try this again. So, mission control people. So we'll call this one. We'll call this MC people. You guys see the real time. I haven't done a live stream since like April? Right. Is it the clean feed? There it is. There it is. Do I want that? No, I don't want that. Yeah, that looks good there. Okay. Boom. So this is the one I was trying to get up before. There it is. Mission control. So, gotta go on this side. So we can get a live look at my friends in here. See if I know any of these people that I can see right away. Where's Gregory sitting? It's so hard to tell with everyone having a mask on, you know? What's up, Just Frank, coming in from the Netherlands. Eric Herrera from Peru. What's going on? Jeremy Rangel, what's up? Come on in. Thank you for joining. So, I'm going to be throwing things, as you can see, like over here. Got to get myself in a better position. Throwing them all around so that we can have multiple things. Oh, excuse me. Going on. Okay. So that's not going yet. That's not going yet. Ooh, got a countdown, 6 minutes there. I'm looking at all my other things. The other windows that I got going on. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's get some more windows up. Let's look at some cool stuff. So also let's put in, we'll call it the NASA TV. Because, you know, it's not just going to be me talking this whole time. You guys got to be seeing NASA TV. NASA TV, NASA TV. I wonder. Let's try this. Go away, go away. I have so many things going on. Let's see, I think I need to start that over. What's up, Jasmine Higgins? Hey, we were just talking on Instagram. Thanks for coming to the live. DJ Nodik, what's up from Canada? Hazard Destroyer, thanks for tuning in, friends. Has anyone got their name on the Rover? I do. Look. Got my boarding pass. Do you have your boarding pass? Let me know. Put it in the comments. There we go. I just took over the screen. What? There's that NASA stream I was talking about. Where do I want to put that? We're going to move some stuff around. We'll go up in the corner. My little logo here. You guys love this. This is like the coolest thing ever. Okay, don't know where the camera's at. Okay. So this is the NASA stream that you can see is not actually going yet. So what we will be doing is those. Okay, so they got this one. That's funky. All right, let's show you this one. So this is the 360. I think I got that one actually right here. Oh, that's not it. That's the behind the scenes. Freaky. Okay. Get rid of that. Now we'll do, boom. Do the MC360. Let's see. Cool, people got their boarding passes. Oh no, Hazard Destroyer, your power kept on going. You must be in Texas. Dang, stay safe. Is there a time that it's supposed to land, as Sarah O asked, or is it more of a window? It should be precisely at 12:55. DJ, I see your question about me leaving NASA. Give me 1 second. There's the 360. Yeah, okay. So that's what we want to see. Kind of looks weird, right? I don't know if he knows he's on live TV. So let me move some of this stuff around. Don't worry, we're going to clean this up by the time things actually happen. And that's going to go up there. Right. You know what? Since I'm a little crazy right now, let's do that. Hey, there we go. That looks a little bit better, doesn't it? Get rid of that display. Let that go away. Okay, so what's going on right down here is mission control that I can move around and see. So I don't know if you can see my cursor on it. No. So you see these windows over here? So there's this person sitting here, but there's windows in the back. In those windows in the back, right here, down there, is this room right here. Okay, so there's like two mission controls. The one down here is the one that's got the really cool stuff up front, like this. All right, so these are all big monitors, our screens. If I swing it around, they're windows. This isn't a mirror. There's people sitting up here. You can see there's a TV interview thing going on right here. There's people working. But back in this room over here, in the windows in the back, is all of these people over here. So we got multiple rooms going on. We got the viewing area up top. We got mission control down below. And then we got people in here. And people are only in here during the big events. The landings, the launches, orbit insertions and stuff. So we will put... He's got an itchy back. You know, that's cool. It's alright. So... Okay, I'm gonna turn this down because I can hear myself. Alright, let's answer some questions. So DJ Nodwick asked, do I miss NASA? Yes, at times I do miss NASA, but I really love doing this, right? Like, talking to you people. If I was working for NASA, I would be able to do this right now, you know? So I do miss it at times. How does it slow down? George, that's a great question. In a second, I'm going to get to that. Because I'm going to make you guys watch a video. Pacific time, 12:55 p.m. is Pacific time. Yeah, Hazard, crazy how science has gotten so good they know the time it will land. We're good. Blake, thank you for tuning in from Oklahoma City. Yes. How it slows down just before it lands, George. Yep, I'll show you in a second. The time of terror from Jasmine says, got to be so stressful. I mean, the thing could just crash and no one would know for 7 minutes. But it's not very likely to crash. Possibly. She also says the Philippines have the most submissions of names to go to Mars, over 1 million names more than the US. Really? I thought Turkey was leading that. That's crazy. Okay, so George, I'm going to ask you to leave the live stream, go to my YouTube channel, and watch the video I posted this morning. It's called Percy Landing on Mars, and it goes through the 7 minutes of terror, which is how Percy lands, right? So I think we can all join in on that. So give me a second. That could be a fun group activity. What do you think? All right. Get in there. Let me see. I want to do a new one. Yeah. There it is. Okay, boom. Whoa, we're hearing stuff. Hold on. Someone just started. There we go. Okay, so NASA's live stream just started, but I had to mute that for a second. So it's just going through some basic stuff. But what we're going to do, I know you can't see me right now. Hi, coming back. We're going to watch one of my videos. Oh, there's more tunage going. Alright. There's just so many different files and windows going on right now. Gotta get this cleaned up. So while we're working on that. Okay, boom. So here's my YouTube channel. It's beautiful, right? Most recent video, gotta turn off my Star Wars, is Percy landing on Mars. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch that together. All right.
7 minutes of terror. Hey, curious kids. Kevin here. Today on A Place Called Space, we are talking about the Mars rover Perseverance landing on Mars. So how does Percy land on Mars? Well, it launched from Earth on July 30th, 2020 and traveled hundreds of millions of miles over about 7 months to land in Jezero Crater February 18th, 2021. Now, Percy's main mission is to see if there was ever any ancient life on Mars and prep samples for a future return mission that would go there, gather them up, launch them back to Earth. Now, at the time of the landing, Earth and Mars will be 200 million kilometers apart, or 124 million miles. So that means with the speed of light, it will take 11 minutes to send signals from Mars back to Earth. So when Percy sends its first signal that it's starting the landing process, it will already be on the surface, dead or alive. So there's nothing we can do in real time. The rover lands autonomously, or by itself, and we just wait. It's known as the 7 minutes of terror because that's how long we wait to know if it's alive after we first hear that it started. Now this is freaky, of course, but also because only 40% of all Mars missions are successful. But on the bright side, NASA has successfully landed safely all 4 rovers so far. So let's make it 5. Now the landing process is called EDL, Entry, Descent, and Landing. It starts with the cruise stage, which kind of looks like this, rover's inside, getting rid of its solar panels, and then lining up the entry to the atmosphere. So Percy is going to enter the Martian atmosphere at 20,000 kilometers per hour, or 12,000 miles per hour, behind its heat shield. It's got a heat shield. And this heat shield will get up to 1,300 degrees Celsius, or 2,370 degrees Fahrenheit. But don't worry, the rover is safe behind the heat shield and only gets up to about like room temperature. So this would be the heat shield on front. As it's going down, little thrusters are fighting to keep it on track. This is called a guided entry. At 11 kilometers or 7 miles high above the surface, it will slow down to about 1,600 kilometers per hour or 1,000 miles per hour. And this is going to deploy the supersonic parachute. And it is a giant parachute. It's 21.5 meters or 70.5 feet. And it'll slow the rover down to 320 kilometers per hour or 200 miles per hour. So during this parachute descent, as it goes down, that heat shield gets ejected and cameras and other sensors turn on to do TRN, which is terrain relative navigation. It compares what it sees down below to an onboard map, and then it moves to the right spot. Okay, now what's up next? At 2,100 meters or 60 feet above the surface, out of here shoots the rover and a jetpack. Yeah, shoots away from the parachute with the jetpack on. And it continues to lower itself on retro rockets. The jetpack does, until 20 meters or 60 feet high. And then it's only going about 3 kilometers an hour or 2 miles per hour. We're really slowing down. This is when sky crane starts. The jetpack lowers the rover down on cables that are 6.4 meters or 21 feet long. We have the crane up here and it's lowering it down. And that jetpack, with the sky crane, continues to lower down Percy to the surface. And the wheels during this time come out so they're ready to land. Now once the wheels touch down, we cut the rope and sky crane flies away and crashes somewhere else. And then there's Perseverance, sitting on the surface, wants to wheel around. Now this whole process of going from 20,000 kilometers an hour to 3 kilometers an hour to landed takes 7 minutes. The 7 minutes of terror. Now, on to trivia. The answer to last week's question.
All right, we don't got to look at trivia. But so that's what's going on, George. Those are 7 minutes of terror. That's how we slow down. You got the heat shield, the parachute, the sky crane. That's it. I mean, it's crazy. 20,000 kilometers an hour to 0. Insane. Brack, you like the music? Well, let's bring it back. Let's bring back the music. Real chill in the background. We call this Star Wars lo-fi. Okay, let me work on cleaning up this so that we can have some cool stuff, and then we can listen to some of the things that are going on. Crowdy, what's up? Welcome back. You're here in the beginning, and then you went away. All right. So, oh, that's my buddy Gregory. Which one? Down here. Oh, we missed him. We missed him. He was down there. They're moving around. Okay, cool. So that's gonna change. We got that lady talking. Ooh, don't want to do that. Which one is that? So there we go. NASA TV. So they're talking down here. I gotta fix this one up top. There we go. Just gotta get some of the logistics right in here. So we got that. Ooh. Where is the control center? It is in Pasadena, California, which is right by Los Angeles, California. It's about, where am I right now? That way. It's that way. 20 miles. That way, 20 miles from where I'm at. Okay, cool. We got that. So we'll move you over there. Now we need to get Kevin. Where is Kevin? Kevin's here. Right. Boom. This way. Cool. All right. See, we're getting organized. It's getting there. Just takes me a little bit to set up these because, you know, we got a lot of info going on. A lot of info. So it depends, like, are there specific things you want to see? Let's see, where is Percy right now? Okay, so Perseverance is just outside of Mars, right? So it's going to be landing in an hour and a half. So that's 90 minutes. And if you're thinking, okay, if it enters the atmosphere going 20,000 kilometers an hour, approximately 30,000 kilometers from Mars right now. That's a ballpark estimate. So if it's going that fast, it'll take 90 minutes to reach the top of the atmosphere. We're landing in about 90 minutes. So it's a good question. Good question, Albert Wang. Welcome to the channel. I got all your little comments going right here. Crowdy, you say you're the first guy to subscribe? Thank you. I appreciate that. DJ Nowick, I am a member of the Planetary Society. I've got a pin somewhere in the office that shows that. Yeah, like NASA's mission control monitors, those are tight. That's kind of like what we got going on here. I just got so many. All right, let's see. Okay, other things that we got going on. So at any point, if I want to, I can just go, hi, how you doing? Just make myself large. And then we can go back to this. All right. Oh, that's my friend Farah. Let's see what she has to say. You know what? Let's do that for a little bit. So we're rolling here. It's a great day for space. George asks, why is it called Perseverance? It's called Perseverance. Percy. It's called Perseverance because there was a contest, right? And in this contest, students around the country, in the United States, could send in what they thought the name of the rover should be, and then they had to write an essay with it. And then they went to NASA, public voted on like the top 10, I think, and then a committee at NASA chose the top name. I was hoping for, what was it? It was I was hoping for Promise. Wanted the rover to be named Promise, but Perseverance is how it came. So that's we got Percy. Yeah. So as a recap, what we got below me is the 360. So at any point, I can drag it around and we can see different things going on in mission control. Interesting. So they're switching this. This is now inside that room. So down here and over there are the same place, right? So these two people are the same as the two people we're seeing over there. So they're switching the 360. So these were the windows we were looking in before. What we're seeing right down below here. Say I was saying, hey, look in this room. So that's that one. It's so hard for me to tell who these... Oh, and it's paused. Paused it. Let's see. My friends are in here somewhere. I don't know everyone at NASA, right? But I know a good amount of people who are in here. It's just hard to see where they are. We got like 3 of the main things together. Okay. Crowdy asks, oh, what's my exact position at NASA? So I'm not with NASA anymore. I left NASA. I left NASA 2 years ago. I was a systems engineer. So I integrated the spacecraft. So think of a spacecraft as a really complex puzzle, and it's my job to put it all together to make sure every piece fits. And when we say pieces with puzzle pieces, right, it's literally like, cool. So we have that on the rover and spacecraft. It's mechanical. All the pieces need to fit together. But then we also have power. So here we have an RTG, a radioisotope thermoelectric generator, and that is what powers the rover. Is there enough power coming out of here to power everything? So those are puzzle pieces that need to fit together, as well as data. Do we have enough room, enough computer on the rover to collect, all the information we're having? And are the pathways right? Do the wires run? Do we have enough wires that are big enough to hold all the data that's going through it? So that was my job, systems engineer. And I worked on 30 different missions, but I really focused on the Europa mission. Let's see. Yeah. What's up, Nyla? Hello. Thank you for coming in. Who owns Perseverance? The taxpayers. Everyone in America who's paid taxes owns Perseverance. Let's see. Do I think there will be a problem? No. Like, we have landed 4 rovers successfully. This is the 5th one. We put a lot of time into this. These people have done it multiple times before. I trust them. And, if we think there's going to be a problem, we try and address it. Like, there are many possible things that could go wrong, or let's say not go right. So we have designed and built in multiple ways to do things. In case one doesn't go right, we have another way to do it. So it's possible. Let's see. The samples will come back. So we don't have an official Mars sample return mission yet, so we don't know when the samples are coming back. We're hoping, sometime in maybe 10 years would be excellent. Because we have to build the spacecraft, and then it's got to travel to Mars, which takes 7 months, and then it's got to pick up all the samples and then travel back. So I'm saying 5 to 10 years would be awesome and ideal. My dog Titans over there. Am I in JPL? No. I am in my home. This is my studio. I got my Legos. I don't remember which site they're on. My Legos, my books, my dogs over there. I don't work at JPL anymore. I haven't been there. When did I? The last time I was there was right before we shipped Perseverance out, like right before, COVID hit. I was there back in January or February. Saw Perseverance in the clean room. A couple of weeks before it was put in a box and shipped to Florida to go on the rocket to launch out. So it's been to a little bit. Now, what countries have been to Mars already? Well, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, just arrived last week, and so did China. ESA, the European Space Agency, has been there with like ExoMars and such. Some have failed. Their Shrapnel lander, their rover, did not succeed about 7 years ago? 6 years ago? 5 or 6 years ago? And there's probably a Russian spacecraft out there. Don't quote me, not 100% sure. Those are the ones I do know. Awesome. Now you can keep asking questions. Just this is English, so we have to speak English. Crowdy. Yeah. And Glenn asked, did I work on Perseverance? Kinda. Not really. So I was never a part of the official Perseverance team. I consulted for like 2 or 3 meetings. So kind of, but not really. I don't get one of the cool shirts. I didn't design anything specifically on there. Someone was going through some issues with some of their computer work that they were doing on the rover, and they asked for my advice and opinion. So I sat down with them and we kind of looked at it and figured out what was going to be the best way to move forward. And they took some of like the work I did and implemented it into their work. So yes, kinda. It's a good question, Glenn. That's a good way. We got a printer over here. I just got to hand stuff off. And also, we're going to go Big Kevin for a second. All right, boom, Big Kevin. We got the logo right in the middle. Let's take that away for a second. So I went and got the Krispy Kreme Mars donuts. Yeah, there's a couple missing. But, oh, look at those. That's nice. That's nice right there. So I'm not going to eat them all. I have 6 of them promised to friends after this. So, hold on. You want one more? You don't get to have a Mars donut though. No, you can have one of the normal ones. So we're allowed to eat 4. So she's going to get 2. I'm going to get 2. And if you had one of these, the boarding pass, you were supposed to be able to get a free Krispy Kreme donut. Many people tried, but they were all sold out. You had to pre-order. I haven't heard of anyone who was able to walk into a store with this and actually get their donuts. So I've eaten one so far. I had the Mars one. Now, I am allergic to milk. It's not like deathly allergic to milk, but it makes my stomach a little weird. So these donuts have some milk in it, but I'm going to sacrifice that for Perseverance. So these donuts, right? So there's the normal ones, but the Mars donuts. So this one, right, inside is like chocolate filling, and then these are Oreo crumbs on the side. On the Oreo crumbs here, and then like an orange. It doesn't taste like orange, it's just orange colored glaze. Awesomely delicious. Great questions, Glenn. Sorry, someone asked. Oh, well, welcome to the stream. Everyone say hi to Glenn. It's a good friend. Let's see. Isn't it easy taking sample data instead of real samples? Well, it's different, right? We're going to go away from Big Kevin and go back so we can see what's going on. It's different. It depends on what type of data, what type of information you're looking for will be the appropriate way to get those samples, right? Let's see. Yum. Yeah, the donuts are delicious. Do I know what the NASA plant in Fairmont, West Virginia does? No, I don't know all of them. I know the main ones, but there's 18 different centers and directorates all around the country. Yeah. Jasmine, yes, you are my friend, but I can't ship these donuts. They are now all currently spoken for. One is to Isaiah, one is to Kaya, one is to Gianna, one is to Caleb, one is to Christina, one is to Mike. So that's 6. And then there's one more for me, and then the donuts are gone. Sorry. DJ Nowak, when am I recording more T-Core? When I go to space. When I become an astronaut, maybe I'll make a T-Core in space video. Stay tuned. We'll see if stuff comes in the future. You got a boarding pass, but you don't have Krispy Kreme, Levi? Oh, where do you live, Levi? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to know where you are that you don't have Krispy Kreme, if it's in America or if you are international. Crowdy says, can I land on your desserts with my stomach spaceship? That's funny. No. Go get your own. So, we're still not landing for another hour and 20 minutes. All right, that's a lot of time, a lot of talking and stuff. So I'd like to answer some questions, which was what we've been doing. And I see them as they come in. But what I would like to do for a little bit is just to bring up the big NASA TV. So the one that's down there in the corner. We're going to make that one larger. We'll turn off the music and then listen in to what they have to say. All right? How does that sound? Oh, first George asks, when it left Earth, is it one thrust and then it glides straight there, or is it constant thrust all the way? Great question. This is not the rocket it launched on. It's a SpaceX rocket. But yeah, it has just the initial thrust. So the initial thrust that goes in as it goes into outer space, and then it launches essentially like, kind of looks like this. Hold on. If you watched the video I posted this morning, go do that if you haven't. So it kind of looks like this is the cruise stage, and then it doesn't have any like thrusters, doesn't have engines on it to make it go fast. It's got correction engines so it can move the right way. But it just glides because in space there's no air, right? Air is what slows things down. There's no friction or gravity. We don't have that, so you just shoot it and it goes. Now I do have to check, so since we have the internet here, it may have done a flyby. I believe it did an Earth flyby. So what that means is, got my Earth. So we launched, and then it came around Earth, right? And it slingshotted away. So you launched out, and then it came back and it stole some of Earth's gravity to pick up speed, and then headed out to Mars. Let me just double check that. So Mars Perseverance, trajectory, Earth, gravity assist. Let me make sure I'm right on that. Let's see. Did it do it? Did it do it? Oh wait, no, that's Insight. Go back. Go back. I don't think it did. Let's see. Let's just look at the trajectory and see if they got that. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. I believe it did not, is what it looks like. So it just launched and shot directly there. Right. Yeah, no, it just shot directly there. We didn't do a swing by or a gravity assist or a flyby, whatever we want to call it. Did not do that. That's a great question. So we just had the initial thrust, and we kept going. Let's see. Levi, Netherlands. Ah, that's why you don't have Krispy Kreme. All right. Cool, cool. Okay, great questions. If you got more, drop them in the chat. I'll try and answer them. But like I said, I do want to bring up the main NASA channel, and we're going to take a look at that for a minute. All right. So here we go. Boom, boom. It's nice and beautiful. We're going to move that over the NASA logo. All right, that's Adam Stelzner. But we got to get you some audio for that guy.
To rethink and redesign what it meant to operate a spacecraft in flight when we couldn't all be in the same room in mission control, seeing the data come down from Perseverance.
It was a major change going to that, looking at everyone on a screen instead of in person.
Because of the pandemic, you can't, just pop over your cubicle wall and talk to the person next to you.
It's definitely been a challenge to figure out how to communicate and get everything done remotely, but we've managed to make it work.
We are explorers. Our job is to go into the unknown, and this is just another example of the unknown.
We're really doing something that's transformative and trying to understand whether or not life evolved on another planet. That's the fundamental objective of this mission.
We're all still connected by this incredible mission and this wonderful team that we have the opportunity to be a part of. So that keeps at least me going.
Pretty much everybody that I've talked to that's associated with the mission has said the same thing, which is you could not have come up with a better name than Perseverance.
It's an amazing serendipity that we get to persevere through working on Perseverance.
Joining us now is Perseverance Deputy Project Manager Matt Wallace. Matt, just how ambitious is this mission, and how does this team stay on track with unexpected challenges like the pandemic?
Well, it's a very ambitious mission. You know, we're carrying not only a host of new, extremely capable science instruments to do that science mission that we've talked about, but also a number of technology experiments to provide feed-forward information into the next set of robotic explorers or even human exploration of Mars. So there's a lot for us to do. We look a lot like Curiosity, but in fact we're carrying 50% more payload down to the surface of Mars, and so it's been a big challenge. You know, and it was particularly challenging when the pandemic struck. It came at a critical time in our processing. We were just months away from launching. We're trying to essentially get the spacecraft assembled, do the final tests. Did not have a lot of margin in our schedule, and our focus just entirely shifted from that to keeping the team safe and keeping their families safe. And we had to do that quickly, to make the adjustment quickly. I think, you know, we got through it with a lot of help. A lot of people stepped up to make it happen. The team was tenacious, and we managed to get it launched and fly it to Mars. You know, thanks to a lot of help.
And Matt, just how large is the team that worked on Perseverance?
It's a big team. A couple thousand people here just at JPL, in fact, have worked on the mission. And then almost every other NASA center has contributed in some significant and critical way as well. We have over 1,000 industry partners that have provided hardware into this mission from 44 different states, 60 different cities, and of course we have international contributions from Europe and many other international providers as well. So it's a big team. It's taken a lot of people to get us to where we're at.
That is a big team. This is the most difficult landing site ever attempted. Now, why do you think Perseverance is ready to land in Jezero Crater now?
Jezero is tough. I mean, it's scientifically fascinating because it's got a lot of things like craters and you know, rock fields and cliffs and sand dunes and that sort of thing, which are great for the science community. That's exactly the type of features they're looking for to learn more about Mars. But they're all landing hazards for us, and so we've had to add new technology to relevant navigation, which is the ability essentially to divert away from hazards. But we have taken this system through the same types of paces that we have in previous missions. We've used the same techniques, the same best practices for engineering verification, and in many cases we've used the same people. This, in fact, is my fifth Mars rover mission, and I'm not alone. There's other people on the project in the same situation. So, you know, the team has given it everything they've gotten to put it all out there and to make this successful, and I think we're ready.
Thanks, Matt, and good luck on your fifth mission.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jezero Crater is a location on Mars that has intrigued scientists for years. Let's head over to Marina to learn more about the science goals of the mission.
That's right, Raquel. Here to explain why we want to go there is Deputy Project Scientist Katie Stack Morgan. Welcome, Katie.
Thanks, Marina. Glad to be here.
Now, Perseverance is landing on Mars at the Jezero Crater. Why is it that you and the team chose this particular area?
Yeah, so scientists believe Jezero Crater is one of the best places on Mars and possibly the entire solar system to look for signs of ancient life. Jezero contained an ancient lake and has within it one of the best preserved ancient delta deposits on the surface of Mars. And deltas form when a river enters a relatively open body of water, like an impact crater, and deposits the sediment that it's carrying into the lake. And we know based on studies of deltas and lakes here on Earth that they're great places to concentrate and preserve organics and support microbial life. We're also excited because Jezero exposes rocks that are between 3.5 to more than 4 billion years old and represent a variety of different geological processes.
Now, this might be a tough choice, but what do you think would be the most rewarding scientific discovery that we expect to get from this mission?
Yes, hands down, I think the most rewarding discovery I think we can make with Perseverance would be finding a truly compelling ancient biosignature on Mars. The rocks in and around Jezero crater record a period of time when life first arose in the solar system, and we have the opportunity with Perseverance to study the evolution of the planet from a once habitable world likely capable of supporting ancient life to the cold, barren planet we know Mars is today.
And why do you think, Katie, it's so important to find out if there really is or was ancient life on Mars?
Well, the question of whether there's life beyond Earth is one of the most fundamental and essential questions we can ask. And our ability to ask this question and develop the scientific investigations and technology to answer it is one of the things that make us as a species so unique. And based on everything we know about Mars in the past, it absolutely should have been capable of supporting ancient life. So we can find out an answer to the question, where there were habitable environments, was there life? And studying the possible emergence of life on ancient Mars can also help us better understand the conditions that led to life on our own planet.
That's so fascinating, Katie. Now we're going to take a question from a student, Vara.
Hi, I'm Vara, and my question is, why was Mars able to sustain lakes and rivers ages ago, but cannot now? Isn't it cold enough to make water, and isn't it always? Thank you.
Yeah, that is such a great question. And one of the things that protects our atmosphere here on Earth and allows liquid water to be stable on our own planet is the fact that we have a magnetic field protecting that atmosphere. We think that Mars lost its magnetic field way back billions of years ago and left the atmosphere exposed to things like solar winds and cosmic rays that basically blew that atmosphere away. And once that happened, liquid water wasn't stable on the surface of Mars anymore. It was too cold and the pressure was too low. And so now Mars is not capable of supporting liquid water and likely not capable of supporting life at its surface.
Well, thank you so much to Vara for that great question. And a big shout out to all the kids that are watching out there today. And thank you so much to you, Katie, for joining us. That was so great.
Thank you.
Now sending it back over to you, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. Earlier, we were able to catch up with the communications systems engineer, Chloe Sakier. She helps us break down the system used to track Perseverance during landing.
The communications infrastructure supporting Perseverance's landing is quite complex. We've rallied a truly global network of relay and communications assets to help us capture and record those precious minutes of entry, descent, and landing, or EDL. We receive a stream of engineering telemetry via these communication assets that helps us see and understand exactly what's happening. Perseverance sends direct-to-Earth X-band tones, each of which provides us with indications of critical entry, descent, and landing events. During entry, descent, and landing, we have two Mars orbiters listening for the ultra-high frequency, or UHF, signals from Perseverance. These orbiters relay these signals to deep space network stations on Earth, Madrid in Spain, and Goldstone in California. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, or MRO, has reconfigured its software to perform a type of relay called bent pipe. This will provide us with near real-time telemetry during entry, descent, and landing. We have coverage from the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter from just before entry to a few minutes after landing. The telemetry we receive will be delayed by the time it takes light to travel from Mars to us back on Earth. Additionally, the Mars Atmosphere and Volatile Evolution spacecraft, or MAVEN, is recording these UHF signals and will be relaying that recording hours after landing. MAVEN will be covering us from around the time of cruise stage separation until a few minutes after landing. We also receive what we call heartbeat tones, which are indications that the spacecraft is alive and progressing throughout entry, descent, and landing. It's important to note that while unexpected, we could lose our communication links and still land safely. Because Perseverance is doing entry, descent, and landing completely autonomously, she doesn't need our help to joystick the landing. The communication links give us added visibility.
And you can see Chloe hard at work inside Mission Control right now. Perseverance's landing might look like the system the Curiosity rover used back in 2012. But landing on Mars is difficult. There's always a risk involved. Here's what needs to happen for Perseverance to touch down safely in Jezero Crater.
Nothing can be taken for granted when you get to Mars. There's a lot of things we just don't know.
Space always has a way of throwing us curveballs and surprising us.
I mean, until we get the data that says we're on the ground safely, I'm going to be worried that we're not going to make it.
Entry, descent, and landing is often referred to as the 7 minutes of terror because it takes about 7 minutes to get from the top of the atmosphere of Mars to the ground safely.
The spacecraft has to do all of this by itself.
There are many things that have to go right to get Perseverance onto the ground safely.
There's a lot counting on this. This is the first leg of our sample return relay race. There's a lot of work on the line.
Starting about 10 minutes before atmospheric entry, we get rid of really the spacecraft part of the rover that's been supporting us.
We come screaming in to the Martian atmosphere at 12 to 13,000 miles per hour.
And the heat shield is what dissipates all that initial energy through friction.
The vehicle will continue actually flying itself through the atmosphere. It's sort of like a transforming vehicle that went from a spacecraft, and now it's kind of like an aircraft actively guiding itself.
When we're going slow enough, we deploy a parachute.
The biggest supersonic parachute we've ever seen in the atmosphere. It's sort of like a transforming vehicle that went from a spacecraft, and now it's kind of like an aircraft actively guiding itself.
When we're going slow enough, we deploy a parachute.
The biggest supersonic parachute we've ever sent to another planet. It's critical for slowing down the vehicle.
Perseverance's entry, descent, and landing borrows heavily from that of Curiosity.
But fundamentally, Perseverance is a different rover. She's bigger, she has different instruments.
We've added a lot of smarts on the inside to make it more capable so that it can deal with the landing site that we've given.
The science team identified Jezero Crater as basically an ancient lake bed and one of the most promising places to look for evidence of ancient microbial life and to collect samples for future return to Earth. The problem is it's a much more hazardous place to land.
When you look at Jezero, all you see is danger. How do we go to a site that we never thought was safe enough to go to before? So the heat shield, which has protected us all the way through entry, is no longer necessary. We need to get that off so that we can actually see the ground. And we can see the ground in a couple different ways.
Perseverance will be the first mission to use terrain relative navigation. So while it's descending on the parachute, it will actually be taking images of the surface of Mars and determining where to go based on what it sees. This is finally like landing with your eyes open. Having this new technology really allows Perseverance to land in much more challenging terrain than Curiosity or any previous Mars mission could. Amongst the rocks and the craters and the cliffs, these things are hazardous to the rover, but these are the things that are interesting to the scientists.
Once Perseverance has figured out where she is, we jettison the back shell and parachute and light up our rockets. Those rockets help us steer to a safe landing spot that's nearby.
That descent stage takes us all the way down to about 20 meters off the ground.
That's when we start the sky cannon. Once the rover has hit the ground, the descent stage will cut loose from the rover and fly away to a safe distance. But surviving that 7 minutes is really just the beginning for Perseverance. Its job, right, being the first leg of sample return, to go look for those signs of past life on Mars. All that can't start until we get Perseverance safely to the ground. And then that's when the real mission begins.
With us now is Al Chen. He is Perseverance's entry, descent, and landing lead. Al, you were part of the Curiosity rover landing. Does it get any easier the second time around?
It absolutely does not, especially when considering we're trying to land the biggest, heaviest, and most complex rover we've ever built at the most dangerous landing site we've ever attempted. Jezero may look great and promising from a science perspective, but it's absolutely treacherous for landing. There's a cliff wall that's about 200 feet tall that runs right through the middle of the landing site. There are craters full of sand that even if we landed into them, we would not be able to drive out of. And there are rocks to the east and actually all over the place, rock fields That would be a bad day for us if we were to land on them.
Now, Al, what new technology makes this type of dangerous landing possible?
Perseverance is carrying 2 new technologies that are really kind of under the hood smarts that are allowing us to land at this treacherous landing site. The first is range trigger. That's the ability, we've given Perseverance the ability to decide for herself, based on where she is, when to deploy the parachute. Previously, we used to deploy parachutes, that supersonic parachute, based just on navigated velocity. But now Perseverance has the smarts to figure out where she is and deploy that parachute at just the right place to make sure that we shrink where we could come down. That actually reduces the area, that error ellipse, where we can come down on the ground, from something that was on the order of 15 miles long by 12 miles wide for Curiosity to about 5 miles long by 4 miles wide for Perseverance. So that's quite a bit of reduction. Second, the next piece of technology that's helping us land there is terrain relative navigation. In the past, after we popped off the heat shield, we've taken pictures of the ground as it's been coming up, but we haven't really done anything with them. This time, Perseverance is carrying a camera to take pictures, but also a kind of second brain to help it figure out what those pictures are telling it and match it up with an onboard map from a satellite. That allows it to figure out exactly where she is. Suddenly then, she can then fly to safe spots that are nearby once she really knows where she is. It allows the site to not have to be as flat and boring as a pancake as some of our past sites have been, the entire area we could come down. Now we just need little pieces of that site to be small enough and safe enough for us to land in safely and fly there after we've gotten rid of the parachute.
And we also have a social media question coming in. Sansakari14 on Instagram is asking, how does the Sky Crane decide where to move itself after the payload lands?
After the payload lands, after the rover touches down, the Sky Crane, the descent stage, which is that rocket-powered jetpack above it, the first job, of course, is to make sure you don't hurt the rover. So it'll turn forward or backward so that the engine plumes don't pass over the rover. So it'll come up and start to turn. And it'll go in whichever direction is closest to north. So it can either go forward, if that's the way north is, or go toward the rear of the rover, if that's where north is. And it'll fly about 1/3 of a mile or so away.
Thanks for talking to us today, Al.
Thank you very much.
Now, let's head back to Mission Control for an update from Swati.
Hi, Raquel. So, remember that command that we sent at around 11:35 to turn the transmitter off? We are just about to get confirmation that Perseverance has received the command. The command took 11 minutes to go to Perseverance, and then the reply took 11 minutes to get back from Perseverance to the ground. So we should hear any second now that we have officially turned off the transmitter. And after that, we will be about 4 minutes from the start of entry, descent, and landing mode. At this point, we will transition from the cruise approach mode to entry, descent, and landing. And that means our travel from Earth to Mars is done, and now we just need to get to the surface. So far, things are looking good.
Great.
Oh, this is CAD 3, ready to show estimated miss distance for OD 132.
Copy EDL phase, we'll come back.
Flight Ace.
Go Ace.
Our tracking stations have all confirmed the results of the transmitter drive off and in lock one way.
Copy Ace. GDS flight.
Flight GDS.
At this time, I'd like to disable the alarms before EDL main. So please disable all the alarm files and start a new downlink session. Copy that.
Now you can hear me. All right. So since they're taking a little bit break there, I'm going to come back in and answer some questions. I saw a lot coming through. All right. Thank you for tuning in, by the way, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. You're all curious kids. Now, housekeeping things first. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you're watching me right now, hit that subscribe button. Come on, help me out. And click the like button for this, too. Get more people in watching this. I've seen some questions. Zach Eggert, what's up, buddy? It's coming in from my hometown of Kakana. Okay, questions. Here we go. Why the helicopter's blades, RPM, revolutions per minute, too much instead of in Earth? So what Crowdy's asking is like, why are the blades, they're spinning, their revolutions per minute so fast? Mars's atmosphere is 1/100th that of Earth. Yeah, it's very, very thin. And so there's not much air, right, for those blades to move around and not flap. But you know what I mean. So if you spin faster and you have larger blades, it's similar. So on Earth, let's say a blade is this big, right? And the atmosphere is what Earth is. But if we have a very, very thin atmosphere, we can use a bigger blade and it can work just the same. It just has to be bigger so it can grab more air and go faster as well. So that's why the Ingenuity is the name of the helicopter. The blades are spinning faster and larger. All right. Next question coming in from Albert. When can we make nuclear fusion work to produce renewable energy? I hope soon, right? We need that. Maybe we can grab some helium-3 from the moon, bring that down, and do nuclear fusion. And if we make nuclear fusion work, would that open up space exploration to faraway places? Potentially, like it's just another power source that we can use. Depends on how we're able to generate thrust. We're probably not going to be generating thrust with nuclear fusion, at least not in the amounts needed to leave Earth or to go somewhere. I haven't seen any designs for that yet, but a way to give power when we're at other places. Yes, it can definitely help us out. Question from Ananya. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Do you think we can somehow build back the magnetic field around Mars? And a follow-on to that with George is, did Mars used to have a molten core and a mantle like Earth does? I don't believe that we can realistically build back the magnetic field around Mars. So the reason that Earth has a magnetic field is because there's a liquid iron core, and that liquid iron produces an electric current, which induces a magnetic field, and that's what protects us from the solar wind and radiation, helps us up. Now Mars at one point did have a liquid iron core and it cooled, something happened, it went away, that's why the magnetic field went whoosh. It's no longer there, right? So it doesn't have something to protect itself from the solar wind, all the crazy particles coming in from the radiation of space. So it did at some point in the past, but it's cooled down. Good questions. Will humanity be saved by Mars? No. Humanity has to save itself on Earth. You can't just abandon Earth and go to planet B. If we have that strategy and try and go forward with it, we'll never actually survive. Now, what are my thoughts from George? What are all those people actually working on at the moment? They're tracking the data that Perseverance is sending back the crew stage and making sure that everything happens as it's supposed to happen, right? So we have this playbook, you know, of everything that's supposed to happen and making sure those things are happening. For example, temperature on the rover. We have a bunch of thermometers all around the rover, and they tell us what the temperature is. Are they too cold? If they're too cold, an automatic algorithm, a computer program, will tell it to heat up. So it'll send some energy to a part and it'll warm it up. So they're tracking all the temperatures. They're tracking exactly where it is. You know, they're tracking any data that it's collecting, anything that it's learning. And each person in that room is a specialist in something else. So they're all checking different things to make sure, like, are the temperature of the thrusters good? Is the temperature of the RTG good? What about the instruments, like the cameras and stuff? Are those still warm? Are they too cold? What about all the propellant lines? What about the mechanisms? Oh, I mean, I could keep going. We got the antennas, everything that's on there. And some of them are just answering questions like what I'm doing here. Okay, we got another question. Ask someone who has previously worked on space missions, this guy, how important do you think simulations and ground rehearsals are? Extremely important. Like, since we're not able to ever test in the actual environment of, you know, space where Mars is at the moment. Like, we can do tests, like we send stuff out to Earth and have it like land back in Earth's atmosphere, but it's not the same as landing in Mars' atmosphere. So doing all these simulations with the math equations, the physics that we know is true, to be able to do it on a computer, what I got in front of me and you have in front of you, tells us if it's going to work or not with a high degree of confidence. So we have to continue to do those to make sure that it's going to work right. And then, what is my favorite instrument on Percy? Oh, I missed one, but I'll come back to it. Moxie. It's taking oxygen out of the atmosphere, of the CO2, extracting oxygen so that we could use it for fuel or make water by taking hydrogen out of somewhere else in the atmosphere too. So Moxie. And if the rover somehow ended up upside down, could it turn itself over again? No. There would have to be a series of unspeakable or unknown things happening to make the rover go upside down. The only thing that I can think of that would cause that to happen would be a sky crane, that jetpack that's like lowering it down. If half the thrusters didn't work and it accidentally flipped as it was lowering it down, but we have algorithms to protect from that. So, no. We used to launch rovers or land rovers. They would just like bounce, boom, 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 boom. And then they had a self-righting, so it would go like this, whoop, and then it would open up and the rover would drive off, but not with Curiosity or Perseverance. Neither of those. Let's see. Okay. Great questions. Thank you all for throwing them in there. Again, I'm going to just say, if you have questions, it's great to put question in all cap right before it as I'm scrolling through here. We're going to jump back to the NASA live stream because they got more activity going on there, and I'm going to eat a donut. Okay? Oh, one thing I do want to show you is I brought this up. You might have seen this jump into the screen. So what's really cool here is the DSN, known as the Deep Space Network. Okay? And the antenna 63 that's highlighted, right? That's M20 on top. That's Mars 2020. And then on the right side, what you see like right over here where my hand is, hello, you see the rover, right? So you see the rover right here. And this is the antenna. Madrid, as you can see, where there's 3 lines. Here's Madrid, Goldstone, Canberra. So the antenna in Spain is the one that is pointed at the rover and is getting all the data that's coming in, which is pretty neat. So we're going to hide that. We can bring that up later. But now we're going to throw NASA TV back up there and listen in.
The team here at JPL is absolutely incredible to assure that those sample tubes are incredibly clean. One of the main goals of this mission is to be able to detect if there's actual life that's preserved, ancient life preserved in those rocks, in those samples. And we definitely don't want to be carrying, our own DNA off to Mars and then bring it back here to confuse our scientists when they're trying to study those samples. So it is an incredibly clean set of equipment that's been sent there. As you said, the cleanest thing we've ever sent into space.
Now, this is a very complicated campaign. Can you break down for us how it's going to work and if there's any international partners working with us?
You are correct. The Mars sample return campaign is incredibly complex. In fact, it's probably the most challenging thing we've ever tried to do. But we're definitely not going to try and do it alone. We have great partners with the European Space Agency. And the way this campaign is going to work, well, Perseverance is the first step. Chapter 1 is going to Mars and collecting the samples. Chapter 2 is going to be a sample return lander that we hope to launch in around 2026 to 2028. And that lander, it'll be an American lander carrying a fetch rover that's provided by European Space Agency. And that little fetch rover will drive out and pick up the samples that Perseverance left on the surface of Mars. And the fetch rover will bring them back and load them into a rocket that we call the Mars Ascent Vehicle, which will be the first ever launch from another planet. And it will launch those samples into orbit around Mars. In the meantime, European Space Agency will have an orbiter that's in orbit around Mars that can rendezvous and capture those samples and then bring them back to Earth for us to study back here in our amazing laboratories.
A lot of firsts, it sounds like, Lori. And another first, how is Perseverance and the Mars sample return mission going to help the future exploration, human exploration of Mars?
I'm so glad you asked that. I think we're going to get a lot of great information from Mars sample return with, again, being able to land the heaviest payload we've ever landed on Mars will be that sample return lander. That's critical to us learning how to land humans on Mars. And then we are definitely going to want to be able to launch the humans back off of Mars. So that Mars ascent vehicle is going to be critical, that first step of the first launch from another planet.
So exciting, Lori. And speaking about the Mars generation, we're now going to take a student question for you from Livia.
Hi, my name is Livia, and my question is, what made you want to study Mars, and why are you working so hard and willing to wait so long for a sample? Thank you.
Oh, Olivia, that is such a great question. And I enjoy Mars just because it can tell us so much about how our solar system formed and evolved. All of the planets can tell us different parts of that story, and Mars is a really key piece of that. And one of the main reasons we're willing to wait so long to get the sample back is that we've got great new scientists that are all about your age, and in about 10 or 15 or 20 years, you'll be the generation that's going to actually get to work with these samples. When they come back, you'll be the scientists and engineers that will be the next generation to change how we think about Mars and how we think about life in the solar system.
That was a great question, Lori. Reach for the stars, future little scientists and engineers. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Lori.
It's my pleasure. Thanks.
Back to you, Raquel, for another mission update.
Thanks, Marina. The cruise team for Perseverance controls the rover on its way to Mars. And moments ago, they handed it over to the landing team, and it looks like team leaders in mission control are about to talk to both teams. So let's listen in.
The CBM change, as I mentioned previously, is to the EDL reserve to a non-coherent route.
Activity.
Copy flight.
EDL phase, go ahead.
I think I'd like to see pep talk, I guess, to the team. All right. I'm terrible at pep talks. I think my reputation precedes me there. And look, I know this hasn't been easy, right? I'm not even sure we've even been all in the same room at the same time. I mean, I'm staring at folks across the internet as well. Even now, right? Yeah. Voice check. Okay. I do want to just extend my heartfelt appreciation from the EDL team to the launch cruise team. You've done everything we've asked for, right? I mean, you've battled anomalies, you've dealt with Cepheids, you've done everything. You delivered a healthy spacecraft to the place that we want to go, and she's right on target, right? You did the last maneuver literally 2 months ago, right? This is pretty incredible, in my opinion. And she's armed with the right information to help us land. Doing the parameter update last night, we're ready to roll. You've done everything right. And you've put up with us too, right? You've put up with our eccentricities and the things we like to do in EDL land. So I very much appreciate that. So you all should sleep in on Friday, since you guys have earned it. Thanks for literally and figuratively putting us in the right position to succeed. And let's land on Mars together.
Copy EDL phase. And as flight director, I also would like to thank the whole team, cruise ops, EDL ops, EDL team, and the surface ops as well. It's been an amazing journey. I think we all know that. And it's been my honor and pleasure to work with you all side by side. And your tireless efforts and endurance in the face of our challenges has been truly, truly inspiring. So kudos to you. Mission, would you like to say something?
Yeah, just echoing the same words that Al and Magdi have mentioned. You guys have overcome great obstacles in the last 6.5 months, and it started with an earthquake in this room on launch day at L-20 minutes. So I can't be more proud than all of the achievements that you guys have pulled off in the last 6.5 months. Whatever happens in the next hour and a half, you can be proud of the achievements that you've accomplished so far. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. And I only wish that the rest of our team could be sharing this moment with us. This is a very unusual event. This room is only half as full as it would be if we weren't in this pandemic. So missing everybody on the team who's not with us here today. And go EDL.
Welcome to the EDL family.
And with that, Godspeed Perseverance. All right, activity. Go ahead and continue the report.
Sure thing, Flight. We've since completed the EDL Start Anchor. As I was mentioning, we changed our CBM row to EDL Reserve two-way non-coherent. That row reinforces our CBM windows disabled, keeps our packetization on, it turns off our ranging, and switches to the auxiliary oscillator. We have also started our real-time data product and reinforced Medley on. At this time,
Now, we just heard Perseverance team leaders thank the cruise team for their work in guiding the rover to Mars. Now, did you know the rover name and Mars helicopter name came from students? Well, a couple weeks ago, Marina was able to catch up with them.
Thanks, Raquel. Earlier this year, NASA and our partners held a nationwide essay contest to name our Mars rover. Alex Mather, a 7th grader from Springfield, Virginia, submitted the winning essay that was selected by NASA from a field of more than 28,000 entries from K through 12 students in every state in the U.S. Vanessa Rupani's essay for Ingenuity was so compelling, NASA thought it would be a perfect name for the history-making helicopter, a technology demonstration carried aboard the Perseverance rover. Alex and Vanessa join us now. Welcome, you guys.
Hello, space nerds.
Hi. Now, you got to go to Florida and watch the launch live back in July. Alex, what were you feeling as you saw that rocket launch into the sky?
I read a log of books written by astronauts, and every single one of them always talks about the raw power behind the space launch. And I definitely feel like watching the launch invoked that sense of inspiration mixed with anticipation, along with that rumble in my chest.
That's very inspirational, and I'm sure that you have had many conversations with your classmates since this all began. Now, what kind of questions have they asked you?
I got some people asking me about what this helicopter is, what this rover is, what are they actually going to do. So I love that this whole experience sparked a greater interest in the mission in my community.
Why do you think it's so important for kids to be inspired by space exploration?
Because space is the future, and kids are the future. Learning about space and watching the story of humanity spread to the stars happen is watching the future happen and seeing history unfold.
The best way to keep our home safe and protect our planet is to learn from the worlds around it. So I think it's really important for the next generation of scientists to be engaged in that type of exploration to make our home the best place it can be.
Now, speaking of the future, what has your life been like since naming the rover and helicopter? Has it sparked any future aspirations for the two of you?
Oh man, I am currently applying to a science and technology school for high school. I'm hoping for a NASA internship sometime along the way, with my ultimate goal being to join the incredible team of scientists and engineers who are about to make this happen.
This whole experience has definitely shown me that I want to go into the space industry. I came home from Florida, did all my college applications, and checked aerospace engineering on all the boxes. I mean, the whole time we were there, I was thinking, why would anyone want to do anything else?
So true. And the best of luck to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us here today, Alex and Vanessa.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.
Now, your essays, as well as the top 155 finalist essays, are riding on the Perseverance rover, along with nearly 11 million of the names from all over the world that were submitted before launch. And if you miss the chance to get your name on Perseverance, then you will get another chance to reserve a spot on the next mission to Mars. So make sure that you sign up now at mars.nasa.gov for your boarding pass. As virtual celebrations are happening all over the globe, let's take a look at some of your submissions on our social channels, showing us how you're celebrating the Perseverance landing right now. And remember to hashtag Countdown to Mars and send those in. We would love to show them off. Look at these kids. They are getting so excited. Everyone's watching it. A lot of classrooms are watching it. Oh, and great, someone did a Lego version of Perseverance, which is awesome. It looks fantastic. We love getting all your pictures out there. We've gotten a lot of artwork from kids, which has been great. I know I have a 9-year-old John at home, and he loves to draw the rover. And look at that. That is awesome. That's better than anything I could bake, that's for sure. Perseverance in a cake. That looks so great. Delicious. I want to get into that. Another great send-in from David Bowie Reel. Thank you so much for your submissions. Remember, hashtag Countdown to Mars. We love to see how you're celebrating. Now, you might know our next guest from shows like Emily's Wonder Lab. Joining me now is Emily Calandrelli. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Now, you are very passionate about getting kids interested in science and space exploration. Why do you think kids are so excited about space?
Well, I know the reason I'm excited about space, and I think it's the same reason that many others are excited about space, and it's that the people in the space industry work to answer two of the biggest questions that humans have ever asked. Are we alone in the universe, and where did we all come from? And by sending a rover to Mars, we are gaining evidence for the answers to these questions, more evidence than we ever had before, and I think that's so exciting.
It is, and I know you get loads of interesting questions from kids. Have you gotten any about Mars specifically?
Oh my gosh, yes. Everybody loves Mars. It's in movies and books and TV shows, and everybody loves Mars. So one of the things that I get asked a lot is that, it's called the red planet. Why is it red? Well, it's red because it's literally rusty. The top layer of soil on Mars has iron oxide in it, or rust, and rust has that brownish red color. So it's red because it's rusty. And also because it's red, they ask, is it red hot? Is it really hot on Mars? And well, no, actually, it's colder than the Earth. It's farther away from the sun. So as you would imagine, it's a little bit colder than the Earth. It also has a really thin atmosphere. So the heat that it does have, it has a hard time keeping in. And so it's a little bit colder. But then I also get asked, what would I weigh on Mars? That's a really fun question. So on Mars, it's a little bit smaller than the Earth, so the gravity there is weaker. It's about 3/8 the gravity that we have here on Earth. So if you weighed 100 pounds here on Earth, you'd weigh 38 pounds on Mars, or 100 kilograms here on Earth, 38 kilograms on Mars.
Those are all super fun. I think even some adults want to know the answers to those questions, Emily. Now, why do you think it's so important to educate kids about science and give them that great foundation?
Well, science is the language of nature, and learning about science and learning how to think like a scientist means you are learning how to systematically seek out truth in the world. You are learning the scientific method, you're learning how to be a critical thinker, and honestly, those skills are great for whatever you end up wanting to do in life.
True. If you want to be a scientist or an opera singer, that holds true. And what are you most excited about today?
I mean, humans are launching a robot to Mars. That doesn't happen every day. I think in all of the hecticness that is going on today and all of the nerves, I just hope everyone can take a moment to sit back and remember that we live in a time when humans have the ability to send a robot to another planet. And that's so cool to me.
It is very cool, Emily. Take a deep breath. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks for having me.
Sending it back to you now, Raquel.
Thanks, Marina. We are offering lots of ways to ride along with us to Mars. Now put yourself right into the action now with our Perseverance photo booth. You can pose next to the rover, place yourself in our mission control, and even see what you might look like taking a selfie on the red planet. There, you'll also have a chance to sign up to send your name to Mars on NASA's next flight to the red planet. It's all available at go.nasa.gov/Mars 2020 Toolkit. And joining us now is JPL Chief Engineer and Landing Veteran Rob Manning. He will be breaking down key moments coming up, and very few people know more about landing on Mars than Rob, going back to the Pathfinder mission in 1997. Thanks for joining us today, Rob.
Thank you very much, Rick, for having me here. And what a wonderful experience. What a wonderful day for a beautiful day in California. We're just also excited here, anxious, worried, but very hopeful.
Rob, I have a question for you. There is a landing tradition at JPL that involves eating peanuts for good luck. Can you tell us how did that start?
Yes, it started in the mid-1960s. What happened was we had a series of missions that had failures. The Ranger program in the early 1960s, one after another, failed. And what happened was one day a fellow by the name of Dick Wallace on Ranger number 7, on the 7th attempt, decided to bring peanuts to the ops area just before the launch, and guess what? That mission worked. Now, we're not supposed to be too superstitious. We're engineers and scientists after all, but we love tradition. And ever since then, before launch and before critical events like entry, descent, landing, we have brought out peanuts and shared them with the team. And it's been really a wonderful little experience. And so this is something we will do. We're doing right now, and it's something that we just can't help ourselves. It's just part of the experience.
Well, speaking of the experience, how did the Perseverance team keep the tradition alive this year?
Well, this year we passed out little packets of peanuts to the team, and they can sneak one peanut in their mouth as part of to keep the tradition alive. But you know, this is part of the COVID experience, but we can't leave this one undone. So this is what we're doing, and this is going to help us land safely.
All right, thanks, Rob. I have some questions for you a little later on, but we're heading back to Swati Mohan, who is part of the landing team. She'll be calling out key milestone and events as they happen from Mission Control. So let's listen in right now.
So right now we're still about 20 minutes from entry, and the EL phase is giving a last-minute confirmation of what will be happening in the upcoming changes to the vehicle, just to remind the team.
This will allow us to steer our trajectory as we make our way through the atmosphere. This is one of the things that allowed MSL, the Curiosity rover, to land where it did. And we're depending on the same type of entry guidance this time around to help get us very close to our target. As we make our way through entry, finish our guided entry profile, we'll do a maneuver called heading alignment, where we point toward the target and get ready to deploy the parachute. But before we deploy the parachute, we need to get rid of a set of balance masses that have been giving us a center of gravity, or CG offset, throughout the guided entry phase. So these are called the entry balance masses. We also call this maneuver SUFR, S-U-F-R, or straighten up and fly right. So we'll go ahead and eject those masses when we get a trigger from the GNC system telling us that we're at the appropriate range to the target to do so. As soon as we deploy those, we will no longer have a CG offset, and we'll be ready to deploy the parachute 17 seconds later.
Right where the Perseverance team is sitting now, what's in store for them as we approach landing?
I'm going to hold here for EDL prep as we're about to start that anchor.
Copy phase 2. And activity, please call that out when it's ready. Copy, flight.
I'm going to make the announcement now. Okay. Maggie's going to make the announcement that
All right. Now, Rob, you've been right where the Perseverance team is sitting now. What's in store for them as we approach landing?
Well, this is the nail-biting time. Fortunately, we still have ones and zeros coming, but very soon, as we approach cruise stage separation, the transmitter on this rover we've been using all the way to get to Mars is going to be turned off. So we will lose our ability to see ones and zeros. But the good thing is once the cruise stage is gone, there's another radio that will continue transmitting a tone, so that like a flashlight that will allow us to at least see that the vehicle is still on, and that color of that flashlight tells us a little bit what state the rover's in. But soon after that, it won't be very long before we'll be able to hear more ones and zeros coming from the spacecraft. So this is a really exciting time, and it's just important to remind people there's a lot that can go wrong in a day like today. There are thousands of things that have to go right.
Yeah, we had success in the past landing on Mars. You'd think it gets easier, but it really doesn't. Why is it still so difficult?
Well, it's because it's involved thousands and thousands of things, hundreds of thousands of lines of code. There's 79 pyrotechnic devices. Each have to work perfectly. One critical wire short or one key thing mechanism that doesn't work or breaks, and it's mission over. And so it's and it's very easy. We're human beings. We're not perfect. Mistakes can be made. We count on each other to find our own mistakes, and we work very hard to learn from the mistakes of the past. We've had many failures. Remind people, roughly half, around half of the missions to Mars over history have failed, and so that could happen today too. Even though we've had a nice, wonderful string of successes in the United States, it's still still a bit of a gamble that we have hoped that we have erred in the side of luck, and we've stacked the deck and loaded the dice to make this thing succeed. But if we do fail, and something bad happens today, I can tell you we're going to learn it. We'll have the data that tell us what happened. We'll know why. We'll figure it out, and if we are allowed, we will pick ourselves up and get us back on the horse. And if Congress and NASA allow, we will try again. As we always do, we will learn from our mistakes.
And what are the possible scenarios we could be looking at today?
Well, there's things like one of the key stressful elements for all of us is parachute inflation. But just even separating from the cruise stage is a pretty major event. Lots of devices have to work properly. Certainly, the heat shield separation, getting the descent engine started. There's no less than 16 rocket motors that have to work. 8 to control during entry, another 8 to control it during landing. I said it's a lot of stuff, and it all has to work. And guess what? We haven't done this before with this vehicle ever. This is its first attempt to actually land. We can't try this on Earth. We don't have test pilots to try it out on this planet before the big show. So this vehicle is doing it for the first time. We've done the best testing we can do in bits and pieces, but it's as best as we could do. But I think our team is up to it. This team is the best. It's a diverse, intelligent, amazing group of people. People from all over the world who worked on this, not just here in California, but all over NASA, contributors from aerospace, universities, countries around the world. It is just an incredible, remarkable engineering achievement, and I am just so proud of this team.
Thanks, Rob. Now, let's listen back into mission control.
Flight, we're about 14 minutes from entry interface. The vehicle is currently preparing the heat rejection system that has kept the thermal system cool inside the air shell for about the last 6 months. This will allow the spacecraft to more easily cut the line in upcoming cruise stage separation, which is under 4 minutes now.
We have now enabled the Rover Pyro bus.
That's the pyrotechnic system that's
we
going
are powering off the cruise stage devices.
And these are the things in the cruise stage that we no longer need. With the pyrotechnic system working, we can explode the devices.
The vehicle is preparing for the upcoming cruise stage separation in about 3 minutes 15 seconds by powering off all the devices on the cruise stage in order that they can be safe once the cruise stage is jettisoned.
Yeah, this cruise stage has been very reliable.
We are firing our first pyros to vent the HRS liquid and gas.
This has been the coolant that's kept their vehicle from getting too hot on the way to Mars. We have to vent it into space. And this is one of the first major events that take place as part of entry, descent, landing.
The HRS vent anchor is complete.
Yes.
We will see the next anchor in approximately 3 minutes.
Okay.
We are currently 12 and a half minutes from entry interface. We are coming upon cruise stage separation in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
What's happening now, Rob?
Okay, well, we're just waiting. The rover is completely in.
I was quiet. All right, I'm back. I want to talk with you about what's going on, of course, right? I'm going to answer your questions in a little bit, but first off, I want to bring in the EDL timeline. Boom, this right here. Okay, and since we're doing that, let's do this. Wait, where'd it go? Where is it? Because there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Ooh. Got my dog down here. Actually, I think this is a little small, so what we're going to do is I'm actually going to just like make it large and move it down. Okay, so what we see here on the top left, this is what's happening in like a minute. We're having cruise stage separation. So that means like the solar panels, the thing that was like bringing us all the way out to Mars, we're going to get rid of that. And then we're going to move in 10 minutes is when we'll actually go into the atmosphere. So since we're like just 1 minute away, we're going to go back to Rob and listen in.
Telecom is confirming that the spacecraft has switched to broadcasting tones. These tones are received directly from Perseverance, but have very limited information content. We won't receive real-time information until about 9-10 minutes from now, once the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter starts relaying information from Perseverance. We are under a minute from cruise stage separation, about 10 and a half minutes from entry interface.
It's getting exciting. I have to admit, I am quite anxious.
I got my peanuts, by the way, like Rob was talking about.
You're seeing the heartbeat tones.
The person who's in control of mission control, like the facility manager, gave me one of these. This is one of the actual things from JPL. He's like, Kevin, love what you're doing. I know it's like you're leaving JPL soon. Take these with you. So these are peanuts that have been in JPL for a while. So it's about time. I'll be honest, they're stale peanuts. I mean, I took these from JPL like 3 years ago.
We have indication that cruise stage separation has been confirmed by the spacecraft.
We're off on a good start.
Cool.
In about 1 minute, Perseverance's landing software will wake up and begin the final preparations for entry. The first action it will do is to fire warm-up pulses with its entry thrusters. These pulses ensure that the spacecraft gets the thrust that it wants during entry interface. We're about 9 minutes from entry interface.
Okay, so Big Kevin's going to come back here so we can talk about some stuff. So, if you guys weren't listening into the peanut thing, so peanuts is a tradition at JPL. Before every significant event, we all eat peanuts. And yeah, these peanuts are from JPL, and they are stale. I haven't eaten them since the launch. They're tight. They should be fine. Oh, that's unfortunate. So, we're going to this EDL timeline, right? So we just did this thing in the top left corner, E minus 10 minutes. That's entry minus 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, see the second little thing there, that is our entry interface. So that is the start of the 7 minutes of terror when we start to go in. So we're going to be seeing that super soon. And by super soon, we've got 8 minutes. So I tried to bring this onto the computer, but it wouldn't let me. So I'm going to hold this here. I know, it's backward. Oh no, you can see it. So this has the times that everything's happening, right? So unfortunately, you can't really see it that well. But in 10 minutes, we got atmospheric entry. Then we got peak heating. 3 minutes later, the parachute gets deployed. 39 seconds later, we get rid of the heat shield. 57, so that means 20 seconds later. So let's watch this. So it's an entry interface. We get the peak heating, the peak deceleration, parachute comes out. We get rid of that heat shield. We start looking at the ground to figure out what things are like. Then we shoot out with our jetpack. The third last one there. Let me move this up. Or I guess fourth last one. The last one with the parachute. And then we have power descent. That's the sky crane. That is the jetpack, essentially. That's bringing the rover down. And then sky crane is lowering it down on the rope. Cut the rope once it touches down and flies away. And that whole process takes 7 minutes. 7 minutes of terror. Yes, that's what it is. So we have 7 minutes. Let me just throw myself away for just a second. Boom, you can see the countdown in the bottom corner. So we got 7 minutes and 15 seconds till atmospheric entry. Okay, so yeah, 7 minutes. So actually, I believe it's already in the atmosphere since there's an 11-minute delay. So things are happening. Because it takes time, right? Mars is, I think it's like 350 million miles away at this point. We could go back to the video I posted this morning and it would tell us exactly what it is. So it takes a long time for light traveling at 300,000 kilometers a second to get here. You know, it's only 300,000 kilometers, and if it's like 300 million kilometers, it takes some time to get there. So we got 6 minutes left until our entry starts. Let's listen in again.
As soon as we get to the top of the atmosphere, it'll be very quickly, which is the entry point. It won't be very long before the atmosphere will start getting thicker and thicker. It's going very quickly at a fairly steep angle of 15 degrees into the atmosphere, and as it starts to slow down.
Just under, we're about 5.5 minutes from entry interface. We're still receiving heartbeat tones. We expect to continue receiving heartbeat tones until about 5 minutes after entry. At that time, Perseverance will be no longer in view of our antennas here on Earth. About 90 seconds prior to entry, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter should begin receiving telemetry from Perseverance and streaming it to Earth in near real time. There are a few expected short outages, such as when we have a plasma blackout or when we enter the peak heating phase. Aside from these outages caused by the plasma blackout, antenna switching, or high dynamic events, spacecraft events, we should have telemetry until about 90 seconds after landing. A plasma blackout is when the signal from Perseverance isn't strong enough to make it through the repeated
Let me
on the spacecraft.
come back in here. So she's just explaining a few things. Big Kevin's going to come back while that's happening. Actually, or let's just let's go back to NASA TV. Let's do this one so we can see what's going on. Okay. So we got that. We got me. So I want to answer some questions because it's been a minute since I got in here, and I see we got my high schools in here, so that's great. Okay. What would happen if the mission failed? 22-meter ass, is there a backup rover or something? No backup rover. We get one shot. We gotta make it work. This is our opportunity. I wonder what happens if you are allergic to peanuts. The guy who gave these to me, he's like, if you are allergic to peanuts, you just don't tell people. I'm like, so I don't exactly know. Maybe it's just never happened. Let's see. Hey, Kimberly from Insta, what's up? How's it going? Mr. Motter, hello from KHS. That's Kakana High School. That's where I went. We should know by 2:55 Central Time if the landing worked correctly. Yes, that will be the time that it touched down on the surface. That is when we will hear that it touched down on the surface. It actually will have touched down 7 minutes prior to that. Or 11 minutes prior to that, actually, due to the lag in information traveling across millions of miles in space. So, yep, we got that. Yes. If they're stale, does that mean the rover will crash? No. These are JPL peanuts. And for Jennifer Anderson, I can put new fresh peanuts in the jar, but these are specific JPL peanuts. These peanuts came from JPL. So I could go back to JPL and ask Jim for some new peanuts to refresh, but you know, if they're stale, that means I just need double, right? Oh, that's a lot of peanuts. We don't want that many. Hold on. There we go. That's a good amount of peanuts. Yeah. Oh, ultra and ass stale. Pretty good. All right, more questions. Oh, I saw one earlier. What was the donut? You must have missed it. These are Mars donuts from Krispy Kreme. See? Looks like Mars. Okay, we got 2 minutes until we go in, so let me answer these last questions. Why do we still explore Mars instead of Venus? So that it'd be possible for Venus to have life too. Maybe. So it's harder to go inward towards the sun with a spacecraft than it is to go outwards due to orbital velocity. As we're going on around the sun, like the moment you leave Earth, you're flung outward in the solar system. So you use that. So we'd have to fight that going into Venus and to Mars, right? Or Venus and to Mercury. Now, Venus is also a place we can land. It's a rocky planet, but the surface is so hot and there's so much pressure that it melts lead. The United States has never successfully landed on Venus. Russia has, but it's only lived for a couple minutes while taking some photos, and then it gets crushed and it's melted. It is a new place that we will be going to in the future. We're looking in the cloud tops, possibly for life. There was a study that was released last year in 2020 that we found phosphine in the clouds. Might not actually be true. We got to actually do more peer review on that one. But phosphine is found as something that life gives off that doesn't need oxygen to survive. Think of it like algae or bacteria, like the stuff in your guts. Right? There's living stuff in your guts that doesn't need oxygen to survive, and it gives off the phosphine. Let's see. What do you think about the sky crane parachutes being littered on the surface of Mars? Comes with the journey. All right, let's go back to the NASA Live.
We're about 30 seconds from entry interface. Perseverance is going about 5.2 kilometers per second and is about 190 kilometers altitude above the surface of Mars. Confirm your jet data flow. About seconds from entry interface. 5.3 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 150 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation of entry interface. Perseverance is currently going 5.3 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 120 kilometers from the surface of Mars. The spacecraft is now waiting until it begins feeling the atmosphere of Mars slow it down. Once there is enough atmosphere, it will start controlling its path to the landing target. Navigation is also confirming that we can see a little bit of that slowdown of the atmosphere on the Perseverance entry capsule. Our current velocity is about 5.36 kilometers per second and an altitude of about 67 kilometers from the surface.
We are probably seeing MRO plasma blackout at this point.
The vehicle should be doing its turns right now.
MRO has lost log.
Perseverance. We have indications that Perseverance is now performing bank reversals in the atmosphere. These are the steps in order to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance has just passed through the point of maximum deceleration and has indicated that it felt approximately 10
Earth Gs of deceleration.
MRO has lock again.
We saw a small outage of the UHF telemetry from Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter during that peak heating phase, likely caused by the plasma blackout. Perseverance is still continuing to perform bank reversals in the atmosphere to control its distance to the landing target. Perseverance is going about 1 kilometers per second at an altitude of about 16 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have entered heading alignment, which means Perseverance is no longer trying to control the distance to Mars, to the target on Mars, but instead is flying straight to the target.
So a very good question from Hazard Destroyer is it entering the atmosphere, or is it in it already? It is in the atmosphere already. So actually 11 minutes ago, all of this happened, and now we're just receiving the data back from Mars. So yes, it's in the atmosphere. It's going towards the surface. Nervous? Are you nervous?
Our current velocity is about 550 meters per second at an altitude of about 15 kilometers from the surface.
Okay. 15 kilometers from the top of the surface.
MRO is reporting good telemetry log.
We are coming upon the straighten up. We are starting the straighten up and fly right maneuver, where the spacecraft will jettison the entry balance masses in preparation for parachute deploy and to roll over to give the radar a better look at the ground. The navigation has confirmed that the parachute has deployed, and we are seeing significant deceleration in the velocity. Our current velocity is 440 meters per second at an altitude of about 12 kilometers from the surface of Mars.
We're getting down there. We got 2 minutes until this happens. Yes.
Perseverance is now slowed to subsonic speeds, and the heat shield has been separated. This allows both the radar and the cameras to get their first look at the surface. Current velocity is 145 meters per second at an altitude of about 9.5 kilometers above the surface.
Mr. Carl, no, I'm not doing math in real time. And I apologize for the reverb, a little bit of echo going on right now. I haven't live streamed since April, and some tech issues.
Perseverance now has radar lock on the ground. Current velocity is about 100 meters per second, 6.6 kilometers above the surface of Mars.
We're so close. We're
Perseverance
so
is continuing to descend on the parachute. We are coming up on the initialization of terrain relative navigation and subsequently the priming of the landing engines. Our current velocity is about 90 meters per second at an altitude of 4.2 kilometers.
.2 kilometers. That's it.
That the lander vision system has produced a valid solution and part of terrain relative navigation.
It's good news.
We have priming of the landing engines. Current velocity is 83 meters per second at about 2.6 kilometers from the surface of Mars. We have confirmation that the back shell has separated.
Sky crane.
Performing the divert maneuver.
Almost.
Velocity is about
Almost.
25 meters per second at an altitude of about a kilometer off the surface of Mars.
So right now it's the jetpack. It's lowering it down.
We have completed our terrain relative navigation. Current speed is about 30 meters per second, altitude of about 300 meters off the surface of Mars.
Everything's going good so far. Knock on wood.
We have started our constant velocity accordion, which means we are conducting the sky crane, about to conduct the sky crane maneuver.
Digitized views, fairly accurate. Very much so.
As expected. As expected.
Skycrane maneuver has started.
Skycraft.
20 meters
Set!
surface.
We're getting signals from MRO.
So now we're waiting on the orbital spacecraft.
UHF is good. Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the
Woo!
begin seeking the sands of past life.
Yes!
At this point, the descent stage has flown away to safe distance. Perseverance is continuing to transmit direct through Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to Earth.
Everyone there just wants to hug each other right now, but we can't hug each other because of COVID. Some people are. Well, we got a rover on the surface. Mars. We got the 5th one. Clean landing. Beautiful. Now we're waiting for the first images to come back.
We got it.
Touchdown confirmed. We're going to wait for the images.
See? The image.
This is so exciting. The team is beside themselves. It's so surreal. Stay tuned. We might get some pictures.
We better get some pictures. Come on. Show us that Martian surface. Yes. There we go. As long as the picture looks good, we're good. Yeah, I'm wearing my NASA shirt, of course.
So much has been riding on this.
Come on, photos. Travel at the speed of light. Let's go, photons.
News that Perseverance is alive on the surface of Mars.
Yes.
It's not
Flight, we have seen the completion of EDL 3000.
Copy activity. That is as expected.
Okay, come on. Photo. Everything's reported as good. EDL look good. That's entry, descent, and landing.
Strong signal from the lander.
So we just had strong signal from the lander, so that means the orbiting spacecraft up above Mars is locked onto the spacecraft, and they're talking. So now the rover is sending the image to the spacecraft,
Perseverance is alive
and the
on
spacecraft
surface of
to
Mars.
Earth.
Congratulations to the mission. And looks like we have some more news in. It looks like we're getting the
There it
first
is.
image.
There's the first image. Oh wow, it's small.
Look at the first image.
First image of Mars. I think we should be able to see the wheel on one side.
Have the target point on the map when you are ready. We are ready, OL3. Go for it.
How close were they to the projected landing spot? That's what they're bringing up, I believe. But they're landed safely on the surface. Doesn't matter if they missed the mark. I mean, it kind of does, but...
Flight, I'll be moving in, showing you the safe zone that we've landed in.
There it is. Okay, you can see the shadow of the rover. That's how we know it's on the surface. It's the rover.
On the surface of Mars.
That's so cool.
The engineering cameras, known as the hazard camera. This camera is mainly used to help the rover drive safely around Mars, and we will get higher resolution photos later in the day.
Wow, that's it. It's the latest photo from Mars. It's the first Perseverance photo. Wow. Okay, that is... It's not all she wrote, right? But that's what we got so far. Whew. See some awesome comments coming in about happiness that we're here or landed on the surface. You can breathe easy. Now I'm excited. When's the next one? Right? So that's the question. We've sent Perseverance. It's collecting samples on the surface and prepping them for the next mission, sample return back to Earth. And we don't have that mission officially done. Let's see if I can check something real quick. Hello? Trying to turn down this reverb, you know? Try to make that go away, but it's happening. Got too many audio sources coming in. But so we don't officially have our next Mars mission plan.
Second image.
Second image.
Our second image is in.
Ooh.
Okay, these we have a camera in the front and rear of the.
This is the wheel. You can see the wheel. That was a mistake.
It's near the ground, so these are pretty close. You can see the wheels there, and they're a little dirty because we've got glass covers over these cameras. But we took these seconds after landing, so there's still dust in the air from our landing event. So this is happening. This happened just seconds ago. This is really amazing.
Yeah, so it's Rob saying he's like, there's covers on the cameras.
This is the most amazing thing. The vehicle has told us where it's landed because it figured it out. This is a sign. NASA works. NASA works.
NASA works, NASA works. So what Rob is saying is that there were covers on the cameras, right? So when we land, there's a clear cover on the camera to protect it from dust. Now, once all the dust settles from the landing, they'll pop those covers off so that we can get really crystal clear images of Mars. But what we got right here are the first and second newest images of Mars, the first and second from Perseverance, and it is going to be doing a whole lot more. Oh, so excited. So what's going to be happening now? So let's go Big Kevin here for a second. Okay. Wave of relief. Yeah, touchdown confirmed. Perseverance is safe on Mars. That is what it's all about. So what's going to happen now? Now, it's not fully deployed yet, right? So we got the wheels down, like you see here. But this part here, the mast. This is where like the cameras and the laser and stuff are. This is stowed. It's down. It needs to come up. And then it can start taking pictures around. And looking around and do operations. Now, Ingenuity, we have the helicopter, first powered flight on another world, is on the belly, right? So it's going to be, I think, like 5 days before that gets deployed. So the rover's not moving anytime soon. It's actually supposed to, I believe, drop and deploy down the helicopter and then drive away. So then the helicopter can take off and fly around. So it just kind of poops it out and then drives away. That's what happens. Yeah, just pooping out helicopters on Mars. Well, thank you everyone for joining me on this journey for this live stream. I'm going to throw NASA back up there so we can keep watching. If you've got questions, you can continue to put them in the comments. But let's go back to NASA TV. That was awesome.
And then just the entry, set, and landing capability. It'll allow us to land more larger, more ambitious robots on the surface of Mars. And then for human exploration, we have the Mars Entry, Set, and Landing Instrumentation, which is going to give us EDL information. We have the Mars Environmental Dynamics Analyzer. It's going to give us properties, size and properties of dust particles, because when we send people, we're going to have to deal with that dust. This is just an incredible mission because of the science and the technology, and then caching samples for a Mars sample return mission. That will be an amazing mission, the first round trip to Mars and back, and bringing those samples cached by Perseverance back to Earth to examine with state-of-the-art equipment in our laboratories here on Earth.
We have so much to look forward to. And we also have a student question coming in from Landon. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Landon Applegate. I'm in 6th grade and I'm going to Academy for Academic Excellence. And my question is, do you think we could get resources from Mars to help on future missions or even as like a launching point?
Great question, Landon. Actually, we have an experiment called the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment, or MOXIE, and it's going to demonstrate generating oxygen from atmospheric CO2, and that could help generate breathable oxygen, and even if we can liquefy it, oxidizer for propulsion systems. So that's a tech demo on Perseverance. And then we're going to continue to characterize the frozen water on and below the surface of Mars, and eventually try to figure out how to extract that water from the Martian soil, or what we call regolith, and then we can use that for potable water and also break it down into oxygen and hydrogen for rocket fuel. So absolutely, we're going to try to eventually figure out how to live off the land to support human missions to Mars.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, Steve.
Thank you.
And now that Perseverance has safely touched down on Mars, let's learn more about what's in store for the rover. Joining us now is Surface Mission Manager Jessica Samuels. Jessica, your surface operations team has now taken over. What are they doing now?
Yes. Hi, Raquel. We are so excited here in the Surface Mission Support area. The team will do a handover with the entry, descent, and landing team and pass any critical information. And then this team behind us will be the team that does the health and safety assessments daily as we progress on this mission.
And what do the upcoming weeks look like for your team?
So as we enter Mars time now, the commanding team will be working overnight while the rover is asleep so that we can perform the initial checkouts of our key rover functions and our science instruments. And we have to do this all in time for the regularly scheduled communication pass, which happens in the morning. And so we will be working around the clock, making sure that Perseverance is healthy, and we will begin this exciting adventure.
And can you tell me, what's it like living on Mars time?
It's a little bit like constantly, flying and changing your time zone. The rover, on Earth, the rover wakes up at the same time every day, but on Earth, that's 40 minutes later. So the team is going to be shifting our work schedule by 40 minutes as we come into work over the next few weeks. So it'll be exciting and some late nights, but we're also excited and we can't wait.
It's a whole new lifestyle.
Yes.
We also have a student question for you. This is Sophia's video.
Hi, my name is Sofia Lopez, and my question for NASA is, how's Perseverance gonna survive? And here's a drawing that I made from Perseverance thinking about Earth. Thank you.
Well, Sophia, Perseverance survives with a power source that charges its batteries overnight while it sleeps, and it keeps heaters on so that all of our critical electronics can stay warm, as well as our mechanism. But it's really survived by the team that performs the health and safety assessments every day and communicates with the rover and makes sure that she's doing okay.
Well, thanks for your time, Jessica, and good luck living on Mars time.
Thank you. Should be fun.
Let's head back to Marina as she gives us a sneak peek into the future at JPL.
Thanks so much, Raquel. It's definitely bustling behind me. It's not quiet like it was just 20 minutes ago. And congrats to the whole team. What an amazing accomplishment. Mike Watkins is the director of NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. He was the mission manager during the Curiosity rover landing on Mars. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, thanks. Glad to be here. You can see all my mask markings on.
Well, you were just celebrating, and rightly so. Now, you've been around for a number of Mars landings. What makes this one special?
Well, two things. I mean, it's the biggest and best rover we've ever sent to Mars, and it can really, do amazing things in terms of, its own scientific exploration of this habitable environment, at Jezero. But, it's also, as you've heard today, it's the first step in Mars sample return. So really, it's not only doing its own mission, it's setting us up for a series of missions and to bring those samples back. And, a lot of the effort to develop the rover was specifically designed, for that sampling and caching system. It's one of the most complex robotic systems ever made. And, having it down safely means Mars sample return continues right on course and we are moving forward.
Wonderful. Now, JPL has a long history with robotic space exploration. Why do you think it's so important to continue to push those boundaries?
There's a lot of reasons. I mean, obviously, for places that are far away, like Mars, and even farther away, like Europa, right now, robotic exploration is the only way we can make those scientific discoveries and really understand these early habitable environments. In the case of Europa, maybe it's even still habitable. And, we're not ready to go there with astronauts yet, but the robots are ready to go there. And so we always, are forerunners and pathfinders of human exploration. And we start by sending, our eyes and arms there in the form of a robot. And it is just fantastic to be able to do that and to learn from each rover, learn from the science and the engineering and make the next one better and make more and more discoveries. And every time we do one of these missions, we make fabulous discoveries. And each one is more exciting than the last.
The future does look exciting. Now, as director of JPL, what would you like to say to those teams right now celebrating?
Oh, obviously they have earned it. Let me tell you. I mean, they have worked, for years and years on this mission. And then in the past year, of course, we had the COVID experience. And I want to thank not only the team, but also, all of JPL. A lot of folks had to pitch in here, in terms of making sure our remote telework, our IT systems were good enough to support folks working from home. All of the folks looking at PPE and our safe distancing and reconfiguring facilities to make them safe for the employees. It's just an incredible amount of work by the entire lab, and of course, especially by this team. And and in one sense, the 7 minutes of terror are very exciting. But on the other hand, the mission's just started, right? We built the mission, not to land, but actually to drive and get the samples and do other technology, demonstrations. And so, for much of the team, this part of the mission's over. But for most of the team, the mission's really just starting. And so, I think they're very excited. But everybody, I think, can take a deep breath and a sigh of relief now that we are safely down on the surface.
Yes, that collective sigh of relief, and I hear a lot of excitement and celebration behind me as well. So thanks so much for joining me, Mike.
It's my pleasure, and thanks to everyone for joining us, too.
Congrats again to the Mars 2020 Perseverance team for a successful landing. Back to you, Raquel.
Now, there will be a flight test coming up for the Ingenuity Mars helicopter, and if this technology experiment is successful, it would mark the first time we have taken a power-controlled flight on another planet.
Sometimes you have to do something just to show that you can do it. When the Wright brothers flew for the first time, they flew an experimental aircraft. And in the same way, the Mars helicopter is designed to show that we can fly powered helicopter flight in the Martian atmosphere.
From day one, this was the unwavering dream of our team, to get our helicopter launched to Mars so that we can get that opportunity to do that very first rotorcraft flight test in the actual environment of Mars. It's extremely difficult to fly at Mars because the atmosphere is so thin. Compared to Earth, at Mars it's less than 1%. So the first and foremost challenge is to make a vehicle that's light enough to be lifted. And then the second is to generate lift. The rotor system has just been very fast. 2,000, 2,200, 2,400, 2,600. We're spinning between 2,000 and 3,000 revolutions per minute, and it takes a lot of energy. So it's that balance of a very light system, yet having enough energy that's needed to spin the rotor so fast to lift, and on top of it, having to design in the autonomy.
It has to be fully autonomous from the time it takes off to the time it lands. What we do on the ground is we plan the flights, and so we determine from here where we want the helicopter to go.
Our experiment window is 30 Martian days. So we have planned up to 5 flights of incremental difficulty.
The very first flight, the main thing is we want to get the legs off the ground, and so we will basically go up about 3 meters, and we'll hover there, and then we'll come down again, and that will be the first, really major milestone.
Most of our flights will be at the 3 to 5 meter height. We will be going horizontally again at a few meters per second, probably go out, 50, 70 meters and come back. In successive flights, we'll probably push that further, try to go further. So our priority will be to get back engineering telemetry and not so much images, but I'm sure to return a few, because they'll always look cool.
At this point, we've tested all we can on Earth. We have mathematical models that shows how it will fly at Mars, and we've tested it in the simulated environment that we can create on Earth. It really is time now to do the real flight test at Mars.
Nothing is a given, but we have done everything we can in terms of a test program here on Earth. The vehicle's performing extremely well so far. It's been doing exactly the right thing, even right now when it's bolted onto the Perseverance rover. So there's a very good chance that we'll pull it off, yes. But it's still high risk, and none of us forget that you could have a glitch that, could mean end of mission, yes.
It's going to be exciting, reacting to any surprises we have. We can't wait. What's really most important is everything we're learning here is for the future rotorcraft systems that we want to introduce into space exploration.
Mimi Ong is the project manager for Ingenuity. She joins us now as they await a chance to check out their helicopter in the coming days. Welcome, Mimi.
Thank you, Marina.
Oh my goodness, we've been talking about this for months, Mimi. Did you ever think you'd be here at this point? I mean, what's going on in your head right now?
This is super exciting. We have been working on Mars helicopter for over 6 years, testing and carefully designing it for operation at Mars. So what's going through my mind? Ingenuity Mars helicopter is finally at the destination that it is designed for.
Now that Ingenuity is on Mars, what is the timeline you hope to
All
accomplish
right.
as you move forward?
So that is going to conclude our live stream for today. In the comments, I just updated, I put a link to the live NASA stream that's going on. So if you want to continue watching, listen to Mimi Ung. I've spoken with her. I've worked with her before. You can see the Mars helicopter on her desk right behind her. So cool. It's a model. It's not the real thing, but that's that's what it looks like. So thank you everyone for tuning in and taking along with this. I know there's only like 13 of you left at this point, but we had almost 40 people, or at least 40 cameras coming in. I know that some were in a classroom, so we had much more people, definitely over 100 viewing this with me. So thank you very much. Appreciate every one of you. And remember, hit that subscribe button. Okay, don't forget that. Click that like button as well. Put it up. And where we go. And like we say, always be curious.